Rousseau and social contract have been frequently misunderstood, even in the famous lines that open the first chapter.
Man was born free, and he is everywhere in chains. Those who think themselves the masters of others are indeed greater slaves than they. How did this transformation come about? I do not know. How can it be made legitimate? That question I believe I can answer.
Rousseau does not say that he condemns the fact that man is everywhere in chains, but rather that he intends to legitimize it. Human beings began in the state of nature described in First Discourse in isolation. Now they exist in society, dependent on each other and subject to law. Must man accept this change as a brute fact? Or can laws and social dependence be made reasonable and just? To answer these questions, Rousseau first considers alternative views on the genesis of legitimate authority. He rejects the notion that government evolves from the father's authority in the family. After all, children outgrow paternal authority. He also ridicules an idea spread by some apologists for absolute monarchy, namely that legitimate authority descends from the patriarchs of the Bible to the present rulers. Neither can strength be a basis for legitimate authority, since force cannot bind the will of the people. Only consent can. Thus we come to what Rousseau calls the social pact. This concept is key to understanding the social contract. A point is reached in the state of nature where the dangers and difficulties of life make self-preservation tenuous. In order to survive, men combine forces. But how to do that without becoming dependent on other men?
How to find a form of association which will defend the person and goods of each member with the collective force of all, and under which each individual, while uniting himself with the others, obeys no one but himself, and remains as free as before.
The solution lies in the contract which constitutes civil society. Here is one of the most hotly contested passages in all of Rousseau. Here is the essence of this association in Rousseau's social contract.
The total alienation by each associate of himself and all his rights to the whole community. Since the alienation is unconditional, the union is as perfect as it could be, and no individual associate has any longer any rights to claim. If we eliminate from the social pact everything that is not essential to it, we find it comes down to this. Each one of us puts into the community his person and all his powers under the supreme direction of the general will. And as a body, we incorporate every member as an indivisible part of the whole. This act of association creates an artificial and collective body composed of as many members as there are voters in the assembly, and by this same act, that body acquires its unity, its common ego, its life and its will. In its passive role, it is called the state. When it plays an active role, it is the sovereign.